I think it was Andy Edwards, you know Andy? It's like he was on Beato. He's like a English commentator on music.
Hello and welcome to this video, and on this video I would like to go through the 10 bassists who have perhaps been the most influential on music technically since around about 1970. A few weeks ago I did a video where I went through the sort of greatest bass players of all time, and there were a lot of bass players from the old days, old bass players who played double bass back in the 1930s, and I didn't really feel that I had covered some of the great bass players from more recent times. And when I say recent times, I'm really on about the last sort of 55 years or something. So on this video, I decided the way to tackle it would be to ring up my old mate, Mark Hartley, get him down here, and then we would sit down and have a jam and jam on some of the grooves of these bass players who we love. Now, as you may know, those of you who have followed my channel, I am not one for getting everything perfect and like doing a million takes and getting it all absolutely every note in every single place. I'd much rather document what it's like when two musicians sit down together and jam, which is what we'll be doing. Some of these are a bit rough, but I have to give it to Mark because he turned up. You know, I only told him a couple of days ago I wanted to do it. I think he tried to brush up on a couple of things here and there, but on the whole, we are making all this up as we go along. So I hope you enjoy this video, and here we go. Are you ready, Mark?
Just about, I think.
All right, then, let's have a go with it. So, shall we start with... I'll start, shall I? So, this is in a ranking order. This is... What you call it when it's in time? Chronological order. Right, so if we go back to the early years of the 1970s, progressive rock was coming out. And there was a certain thick, distorted sound that we've got to know. I think we could hear it in Nick Begg's bass playing, we could hear it in Geddy Lee's playing, and I really think it goes back to Chris Squire, who was one of the foremost bass players and had a legendary style. So what tunes do you know by Chris Squire that we can have a go at?
Well, I was having a good think, but I think one of my all-time favourites, and I guess it is for most bass players, is the line from Roundabout.
Roundabout?
Yeah, it's a funky, quite a difficult bass line to play, but it's one really that every bass player has within their vocabulary, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, okay then. So you can sort of see that Mark's got a little bit of an idea. I haven't got a clue what's coming my way, but I'm pretty sure I can play the drum beat around about, right? So it goes... I think that will do. I'm happy with that one.
Yeah. And this, as I said, because it's such a funky line, at one point I actually thought, wow, I wonder what this would sound like slapped.
Yeah. The great Chris Squire, that's our tribute to him. What was next on there?
Well, as we're moving through the 70s, I guess someone like Stanley Clarke.
Stanley Clarke.
That's Stanley's massive influence on my playing, as you well know. I thought for today what we could have a look at maybe something like School Days.
That's an easy one.
and then
hopefully you haven't worked out silly putty, have you?
maybe.
I've got to get that gun drum beat. I don't know how it goes. Let's do school days. Right.
Just the-
So, yeah, Stanley Clarke, I see he's done, isn't it? So, silly putty.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Can you just play it and I'll try and find out what the beat is? That was going all right, that was. Plates for me. we're going to do a bit of Jaco now. Of course, signature's fretless sound. He didn't always play fretless. He did play fretted from time to time, and I always thought it sounded very similar on fretted. Chuck them at me, let's see where we go then. Don't tell me, I'll just come straight in and see what happens. I feel like I'm trying to. I need more surprise. Let's see what you can throw at me. Come on, Mark. Some more Jaco.
So, I think what probably is the most important part of Jaco's playing, from a bass player's point of view, especially when you learn his style, is he's very syncopated, flat 7 Mixolydian type groove that everyone knows him for. And I know he's been criticised in the past, Jaco plays the same, licks, but that, for most bass players, that groove that's so versatile and can be used for so many different styles. And I think Jaco really opened the door for us all.
Yeah, it's like bebop rhythms, basically. What about Teen Town or Chromatic Fantasy or you seem to be avoiding something here, Mark. Teen Town? At least a little bit of it.
Fretless. Oh my god.
After 4? This is what you come to my videos for. It's not all polished. People don't know what's there. I'm throwing this at him. Right, you ready?
Ready?
1, 2, 3. I'll do it.
Well, I'm going home now. I guess what we probably should talk about next.
Well, I thought the first follower after Jaco, really, that then picked up and took it somewhere even beyond Jaco, was the great Jeff Berlin. The great Jeff Berlin. And so, of course, there's a whole bunch of bass lines we could choose from. But the one that he named after his favourite curry, the chicken jalfrezi. So, you know jalfrezi, that one? Jalfrezi? Jalfrezi, you know that one? Jalfrezi? He loved his curry, old Jeff did. When he came to the UK, oh, I fancy a jalfrezi. And he wrote a tune all about it. Then we got to America, they went, what is this jalfrezi of which you speak? They thought he was mentioning the boxer, Joe Frazier. An easy mistake to make, anyone could do it. But the reason I'm pedalling water down is because I know Mark has not worked on this one. I know this is a hard one to do. And when we were discussing it, he said that Joe Frazier might not be able to be pulled together in the couple of days we've got. So
I'll try. I don't know if I can get through this. But
so this is now you're about to experience the biggest test of Mark's on-the-spot virtuosity.
I can't get that last bit. It's too much of a
Let's do it once more.
Oh,
This is a testament to Jeff Berlin of how incredible he is on bass.
Oh.
You know, because if Mark's having problems, what's so hard about it?
It's just a position shift that it involves virtually every fingerstyle technique.
Let's see if I can match it a little bit. I don't know that well, but I'm going to try and see if I can pull it out of the bag a little bit. Right, I'll play it quiet so I can hear what's going on. I can't tell where that is. I need the piano running with it. It just sounds like a jumble of notes. Oh, it's a killer, isn't it? Jeff, I hope you're watching this,
yes,
right?
Jeff.
Can you come on my channel now? Mark will come on, he'll come in and we'll have a chat about this track. You know, this is just shows what a bloody player he is.
Oh, phenomenal.
And so Jeff Berlin is really that point where bass players just, the technique starts to come up. I think Jonas Hellborg would be another one.
I have to say, I really, really admire Jeff Berlin, and for many reasons, not just being a great bass player. I know Jeff gets a lot of stick.
He does get a lot of stick, Jeff.
And I think that we need, if it wasn't for people like Jeff Berlin, because we're all entitled to our opinion, but if there's anybody qualified to make those type of discussions and debates, you know, his melodic approach to the bass is just phenomenal. So,
Jeff, I've followed you for 40 years. When I first heard you on the Bruford albums and then on what would it be, Road Games by Alan Holdsworth. And recently you've been getting some stick for having an opinion, but you never told anybody they've got to do what you're doing. You have offered an opinion which is about quality. Don't play over this speech. You're going to be he's playing over my speech to Jeff Berlin. You have spoken about quality, about stuff that actually works, not getting bogged down in some of the airy-fairy stuff. I agree with you 100%, and I respect you for having your opinion. And if you want to have your opinion on my channel, come on now, Jeff.
yes.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. It's like you need people with different opinions. It should be like a smorgasbord, of opinions, so you can pick and choose what you want.
Yeah, absolutely. No, Jeff, one of the greats without a shadow of a doubt.
Who have we got next on the list?
Well, I guess we should probably go to someone like Tony Levin, because obviously Tony was there in the 70s, but he's still doing it now. He's gone through all the decades, and he's an amazing player.
What have you got prepared for Tony Levin? It's not getting King Crimson, is it?
Well, we could do something.
I think I can do this when I'm at home, and then when I get here, I realise I've got to go do it on the spot with the cameras. 3 cameras on you, and the thing being recorded. It's just not important. It's hard, isn't it?
It is. Yeah. I think if we start off with something. Well, I had to think about Tony Levin, because you know I personally like some of his Chapman Stick albums, you know, things like that. But I guess if you were to Google the most popular bass lines for Tony Levin, two that come to mind would be Sledgehammer and Don't Give Up. So I think if we should do a bit of Don't Give Up first, and then I'll put my synth on. But again, with something like,
I mean, what's the drummer doing on this? If I'm doing virtually nothing,
just some ambience. That's why I chose it. So this is a brilliant. What it does is it outlines the chords within it, and you know the So album, Peter Gabriel. I mean, it sold millions and millions of albums, and it got, you know, to me this is like a bass solo on an album, you know, and so it's phenomenal. But it just outlines the chord changes.
Okay, so I mean I know the tracks. I'm going. Is it in 6?
Yeah.
1 after 4, just to make it easy. 1. Shouldn't do this here. We should be counting 6/8. But I'm going to count it 4/4. This is the wrong thing to do, everybody.
Yeah.
1, 2, 3, 4. We've just had a first, because I don't think anybody in the history of mankind has ever broken a stick. See, look at the way it's broken. It's split right down the end, right here. That's useless now. Broken a stick on Don't Give Up. So I assume the next one will be Sledgehammer Mark.
Yeah. Quick bass change. I should have kept this bass on ready, haven't I?
Yeah, I didn't really know what was going on in that one. It wasn't until you played the chorus the second time I realised that was the chorus.
Well, the thing is, again, it's, you know, who doesn't know Sledgehammer?
Me. If you expected me to play the drum part to Sledgehammer, I ain't got a clue. I just did a vague Manu Katché impersonation, and then it slowly went towards Phil Collins. I don't know why.
But it's one of those tunes, you heard it on the radio so many times, you know the tune, but when you go to learn it, you think, oh, I didn't realise it was like that. Right.
Who's next?
Well, I guess we're moving into the old 1980s more, aren't we now?
So, for American viewers, I assume we are now going to be talking about one of the great British bass players who, in my country, not only changed the face of bass playing, but also brought the bass up front into the world of pop music. Is that right, Mark?
Absolutely, and was one of the main reasons why I picked up the bass.
He loves him. He loves him.
I do love him.
He loves him. Mark King from Level 42. Now, when I played in the old band Frost, on bass, they've got a guy called Nathan King, great bass player and guitarist. He plays guitar in Level 42, and he plays bass in Frost. And I'm putting it out to there, Nathan. Mark over there, Mark King's his hero. So if you feel he passes the test, don't put any pressure on. If you can send this over to Mark King, if you could just send this video over and say this man deserves a meeting with the King. He is the King, isn't he? Forget BB King. Forget Freddie King. Forget Billie Jean King. I could do this all day.
Burger King.
Burger King, yeah, I was trying to come up with something like that.
Well, let's do Running the...
Straight off the cuff. So how does Lessons in Love just throw the back beat?
This was again in the 80s. This was one of the. If you play Lessons in Love, that was a benchmark of how So it took me ages to relearn it. But it's got Mark King, although he doesn't do the double thumb. He's the thumb king, where he just does everything with the thumb itself. So this is just that kind of broken drum.
Oh, I know what. And Phil Gould, and I'm going to have to try and play, he does this.
As we know, Mark King started out as a drummer and then moved very quickly across the bass, seamlessly almost. But everything he brought across from drum technique is on the bass. Now, one of the secrets to that line is almost the same as a double stroke roll with the bounce.
Yeah.
If you go...
Yeah.
You have...
So you bounce to the... Yeah.
Yeah, so you have to get that
That's
flick.
So
it's as much about...
I'll tell you something, you start something, you go, oh, this is easy. It's not particularly hard to play, And then you start playing it, and then every bargain that goes past, you can just feel it like it's stamina, isn't it?
It is.
But they were young chaps back then, and me and Mark of a certain age, you see, and you know, joints and you know, fingers and muscles, they're a little bit, you know,
This is it.
They need a little bit of oiling.
Yeah, it's a young man's game.
It is a young man's game. Who have we got next then after Mark King and
I thought maybe should we do a bit of something like Children's Day?
who? Oh, we're still on Mark King, aren't we? Well, I don't know that. Well, I do know it, but I don't know when I have to remember the drum beat on it.
Just a 4/4.
Come on. We've done him now, haven't we?
We could go on all day with Mark.
Yeah, it's too hard as well. They're hard.
They are hard, they're very difficult.
Mr. Phil Gould, I salute you. So who's next on the list?
Okay, shall we move on to someone like John Patitucci?
Yeah.
Now this was really difficult for a number of reasons, coming up with something that we could use for the purpose of this. Because I love John.
Yeah, John Patitucci is like another level again, isn't it?
But obviously a lot of his, certainly his solo albums, it's straight out jazz, improvising, so that, you know, but if you want more groove-based stuff, you have to look towards his work with the Chick Corea Electric Band, of which...
No, we don't want to look there, do we? Because it's just getting harder and harder, this video. It's what you haven't got a match ready, have you?
And as you know, one of you and my favourite albums, Beneath the Mask, of Chick, we were both at the same concert in Birmingham.
Yeah, that's it, yeah.
Years before we met, as it turned out.
Yeah, I went to see Chick Corea's Electric Band. Mark was there. We didn't know we were in the same building together. But what I do remember was Frank Gambale's incredible look that night. Red velvet trousers, some sort of cut-off T-shirt, and then some sort of oversized Elvis Presley wig, wasn't it?
Yeah,
it was mighty, and cowboy boots.
I think his wig was a little bit wonky. I think
He did have a wonky wig on that gig, but it didn't affect. It just did not affect the chops. And I have to say, Frank, if you're watching, now that you've gone for the sort of Mark Hartley bald head look, you know, I think it's so much better. Yeah. Especially when you have a nice little hat on. I think you look very attractive. But back in the 1980s, he went the whole hog, didn't he?
Yeah, tight leather trousers as well.
He did, old Gambale, didn't he?
Let's not forget the pinball machine.
Oh, almost. Hi, I'm Frank Gambale. Welcome to my new video. You just heard a song called High Five from my album Note Worker. And I'm not always working on the guitar or playing guitar. Sometimes I'm playing pinball too. It's another one of my loves.
The pinball machine. Mode's no more mystery. But apparently, I can remember, some of you will get this, and those of you who don't, I don't give a toss. But if you want to know about the modes, the first thing you had to learn was the fact that there was other things that Frank was into, like pinball. I'm quite partial to snooker. That's my other hobby. I'm thinking of getting a pool table. I can't get a snooker table. I'm thinking of getting a pool table for in here, so that if we wanted to break, we have a game of pool. That'd be brilliant, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
And what's your hobby, Mark? Just so we can get online with old Gambale. What do you like to do when you're not playing the bass?
I like to play with Star Wars toys.
He does. I've seen him do it many a time. I had to force bloody Obi-Wan Kenobi out of his hand. You can't mention him on the video. So what's this then?
This was Beneath the Mask, the opening track.
I don't know it. I can't remember. It's too long ago.
Damn. Come on, you're not going to do the Dave Weckl fill at the beginning?
I haven't got the mullet for it. I'm looking around for something I can fashion into some sort of 80s mullet. But you got to get it. I've got to get this more mullety down. So it needs to come up like that, and then we need to have this just here, which I will do with the headphones. Imagine you got your headphones on. I'm going full 80s Weckl. Again, Dave looks great now. He's got grey and he's got a little bit of a sort of, you know, bit of a Charles I goatee. What's that looking like? Is that looking 80s?
Unbelievable. That is spot on.
Shall I pull this?
You've got the part in and everything, and it's really
So
good.
I'll do that here. Now I can't remember the drum beat to give, so I'm just going to utilise this look to just make me play in a certain way. I don't know. I feel like I should have a great big rack of sequencers that cost like about 20,000 quid, and they're pushing out the worst sort of music to play over. You know, loads of plackety plackety. Go on, then count me in. I don't know what I'm doing on this one.
So we got.
Let's just leave Patitucci behind. I don't know any of this beneath the massy thing. I saw the tour.
Yeah.
It's the one album I never have. I have to be honest. It's the one with the really complex one at the end, isn't it?
Yeah. Well,
yes, it's probably one of the best. It's probably the best Chick Corea electric band album. Really, I know it's got that complex thing at the end, and I remember it at the time. But I've got to be honest now, I can't remember any. I do so. If he'd have done anything off the first album, I would have been all right. Can I take this fig off there?
Yeah. Cheers, Dave.
I felt I was doing more Greg Bisnet stepping in.
Now we're moving to the realm of someone like Flea, the Red Hot Chili Peppers.
Yeah, we've got Flea next.
Yeah.
He's like the next generation's Mark King, isn't he?
He is. I gotta be honest. I wasn't a massive Chili Peppers fan.
Mark won't like him, you see. He won't like him.
No, hear me out. It was only because at the time, when they came out, I was so immersed in Fusion, Yngwie Malmsteen, Mike Varney, Shrapnel.
Don't make me get the wig out again.
Sorry. No, definitely no Yngwie to that. But now when I look back at some of the tunes that Flea has done, and funnily enough, when I was doing a lot of bass teaching, when I used to teach all your students from the college, I can remember teaching loads of Flea lines because that's what all the kids were into at the time, that and Jamiroquai and stuff like that. So he definitely has his place there. Of all bass players, it's probably not my personal taste, but his grooves are really good. So I've chosen.
Right, we got a problem straight off because your cameras run out of power. God knows why.
So I guess one of the most popular lines he's done is their cover version of Higher Ground.
Right, so we're on to the last one. Don't talk over me. We're on to the last one now. So the last one on the list is probably the great virtuoso of the last 20 years, really. Victor Wooten. And when Victor Wooten emerged, he seemed to have mastered all these techniques that had gone before. And he had also seemed to mastered a whole bunch of new techniques. I'm not saying he invented them, but he did popularise a whole bunch of bonkers stuff. And so what I'd like to do is, rather than get Mark to try and play anything by him, let's just go through some of these techniques that he used.
So what Victor really did for me as a bass player was brought loads of, if you talk slapping, for instance, and one of the big things he does is what they call the double thumbing. technique, and it's actually something I don't do myself that much because it's mainly because it's him, but I do an adaptation of it. So what Victor does is what I do, which I've developed, is I use my thumb and my finger like that. So it's a different way of doing it, but and I'll explain why I do it this way. And it's another quick way of moving around. And also you can make things swing a bit more. So the other thing is
hang on. This is pretty good. So I assume that you could also do it across two strings at the same time.
Yeah. So what the beauty is that you can use it with triplets as well. So you can use it with the line. And then another great way of using this technique is with which brings me on to hammer-ons, which is another thing he uses, and what he coined the open hammer pluck, which is basically thumbing a note, doing a hammer-on, and then doing a pop or a pluck at the end. Now that's kind of a traditional type of technique for slapping, but what he did was colour it up with adding additional notes. So it's just a great way of kind of using the economy of motions just to get loads of notes. And then one of the other techniques I took from Victor is, rather with slapping, obviously the traditional way to do slap is a thumb down, and then whatever you want, whether you use left hand slapping. This approach uses left hand finger first. And what that does is it gives you it's still a percussive drum type feel, but it's a different way of. And you put little flams in. And then one of my kind of signature things I use, more so using 3 fingers as well for slapping, and that's something I learned probably before the Victor thing, but with all the stuff I picked up from Victor as well. It's a great way of just getting different.
Just play that in there. Just keep that constant as long as you can.
So that one is but completely based on a drum fill.
That's bonkers. What about techniques like the more advanced tapping techniques? Because one guy we haven't really mentioned on this video that has popped into my head is Stuart Ham. You know, and I think he was really sort of took Eddie Van Halen finger tapping and then the sort of sweep technique as well. You know, could you show us some of that?
Well, a lot of the Stu Ham's approach, especially with bands like Law of Three as we had, was taking tapping not just as a showpiece type of a technique, but think of more of like a pianistic technique where you're outlining hard.
Lovely days. What about some fast stuff though? And that's all very tasteful. What about fast stuff? What about tapping the bass and playing really fast? See, that's all very nice. We all appreciate it, Mark.
Well, that type of tapping technique.
What about the old Billy Sheehan?
Well,
another guy we haven't mentioned.
Yeah. Billy.
Mark. I can do that one. You showed me that years back. That, and then what's interesting is guitarists don't do this, I don't think. He's actually tapping on the same fret, isn't he, a lot of the time to get him.
It's a trick. He does everything from, as we know, like on the line. That was the main thing, again, with being Billy, getting notes out of chords.
And finally, what about the sweep technique? Maybe you're done, Mark. You could go home then.
Well,
and have a nice bath and tell your wife about how stressful it was.
yeah, have you had a nice day, darling?
It was horrible.
So what? Again, interestingly enough, because Billy's got such a unique technique, he does a lot of three-fingered stuff, and I'm going to be completely honest, I can't do a lot of the stuff that he does. So, which I'm
I expect you to be able to do everything.
I set out to do.
Get someone else.
Yeah. Take the ball, bass player, out, please.
Yes.
But I do the three-fingered play. terms of raking, what I tend to do is I use 2 fingers, and this is my own, what I've developed. I've never kind of seen this done anywhere else. And I use it, 2-string raking technique, and it involves a hammer on as well. And it's a technique that, again, you can use over different intervals, thirds, but it's a great way of getting a flurry of notes again. Like
It's getting warmed up now, I can tell. It's true though, isn't it? We get to our age, it takes so long to warm up, but we ain't got time to do it.
just was me bloody finishing. But no, it's very useful for, you know.
What about 4-string sweeps?
Well, that
With tapping.
I mean, I've done that for a while, but for a long time I used to do the It's not doing much anymore.
They need brushing up, Mark, I can tell you that now. You used to be amazed at those in the old days. What's happened?
Well, they're a bit boring now, aren't they? They're like that.
It's a bit neoclassical metal, isn't it?
So that's why I'm moving to other. But the 2-fingered raking technique, if you work at it, you can apply it across all strings, so you can kind of. And so on. So I've been practicing that.
I think we've had enough of him now. There's too many bloody notes. I just see the meter's gone off in the corner. It never happened before. And I played a lot of notes myself, but it's just gone off. So I'm just going to give Mark a little bit of 2-finger technique. Go on, sling your up. But no, I'm only joking. Thanks, Mark. It's been great. I don't know if we both. I've got this funny thing here. It's
Is that called a gimbal?
It's gimbal, yeah.
Gimbal. Hello, gimbal.
Hello, gimbal. But you see, mine's wonky. It's always slightly on the side.
You got a wonky gimbal though.
I have, yeah.
Yeah.
That happens when you get older. I had some fills for it. But the dog had them. He was awake for three nights straight. Trying to Roger the cat. Roger the cat is my cat. We call him Roger the cat. But anyway, enough of this stupid humour. Like, subscribe. Go to Mark's YouTube channel. It's a bit rubbish, but once a week he just puts his camera down and puts some nice little bass playing down. He's got his nice little following there. So go and check out Mark. If you want to see more of Mark doing more of this madness, we will bring him in again. So thanks for watching. That was the 10 most greatest influential bass players since 1970.